Foxconn, you have to take everything they're saying regarding this construction work with a grain of salt.
We do. We keep a salt shaker handy, believe me. So,
because I know that, 10,000 construction workers, where are you going to get them from?
Yeah.
There's no 10,000 construction workers. That's what we have in the state of Wisconsin. And they're not going to leave these jobs they are on in Milwaukee, in Madison, to come to Racine because you are building Foxconn.
Yeah.
Because they're going to continue to build in Milwaukee.
Good morning. Welcome back to Talking Racine. We have Mr. George Myers on the far left.
Morning.
I'm Dr. Ken Yorgan, your host, and we have a special guest today, Ola Baiyewu.
Good morning.
And we wanted to have Ola on to kind of explain to us what it is that he does. He's involved in job training here in Racine. He's been working in a jobs training program for quite a number of years.
Everybody, I'm disappointed at what you guys are trying to do here. I have served this community through First Choice for over 10 years. And I read in the newspaper that this council is going to give $500,000 to Racine County Economic Development to train folks for construction work. Some of you know what we have done in this city. I was just shocked when I read in the newspaper.
So first, we're going to get to know him a little bit, because I understand you're married to an American citizen as of this morning.
Yes, as of this morning.
Yeah. It's your wife took the vow up in Milwaukee,
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, congratulations on
So
that.
I said to her, now you're part of us.
Now, do you have your citizenship already?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great. Great. That's very good. I'm glad to see you here. I know you came to Wisconsin how many years ago? Did you say it was 1975?
No, I didn't come in 75. I came in 1980.
1980,
Yeah.
Okay.
To stay.
Yeah. You had met somebody in England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Who
he
was from Wisconsin,
Mhm.
and he just encouraged you to come and see the place. And what was it about Wisconsin that made you decide to stay here? Was it the Kringle?
Dairy,
Yeah.
because you grow a lot of corn here, and that's what you feed your cows,
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I eventually stayed here.
Now, did you have a degree before you came here? You did, right?
No, I just went to high school, and that's all I had before I came here.
Okay. How did you get involved in at Carthage College then? Did you go there as a student first, or were you working in?
I had a business in Milwaukee,
Uh-huh.
and was trying to build a few things in Africa and in the Middle East.
Yeah.
So I stayed in Saudi Arabia for 2 years until Saddam Hussein went to Kuwait, and the whole thing just crashed.
Yeah. When were you in Kuwait?
I was in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay. But you mentioned Kuwait. Oh,
Yeah,
I think
when
you're
Saddam Hussein
talking
went to
about when
Kuwait.
they invaded. Okay.
Yeah, when he invaded Kuwait,
Yeah.
and the
Oh,
whole
wow.
thing just
All the
crashed.
action there.
Yeah, the whole thing crashed. It was fun when I was in Saudi Arabia because I was building a hospital there. As a consultant, did the feasibility for them, set up a fish farm there, and also a poultry farm. Because poultry is like printing money.
Really?
Yeah, it's like printing money.
Wow. Well, we had a fish farm here in Racine for a short time.
Yeah, there was one on Maquette.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah,
if
it
it's
was
still there.
aquaponics.
Yeah, aquaponics.
Yeah. Now, how did you get involved in the construction trades? Did you have a history of working in construction, or was it just?
No.
It's
I'm a
When you
computer
say you built the
scientist.
hospital, what were you talking about then?
I was a consultant that brought it together, the builders, the administrators, the contractor. It was a
Okay.
turnkey project.
ah,
So we got some people from France and some people from Philadelphia here to go build this hospital. They're 40-bed specialist hospital for.
Got it. So you weren't into the actual pounding
No,
nails in
no,
the board.
no, I was just,
you were organizing the finances.
I was the paper pusher.
hey, paper's a lot lighter than.
Yeah, they're concrete. Yeah, but it was fun. But it is what it is. It was the guy who owns it. Is the present king of Saudi Arabia.
Ah, Well, you know what I thought was really interesting is the story of how you told about how you got involved with kids and training them in the building trades. Tell that story, because it's really interesting. This was down in Kenosha that it took place, right?
Yeah. From Carthage, I met this lady, Thelma Orr. She says, Ola, can you come over here and help us with our children? They need mentors. I went there and said, wow, I didn't believe what I saw. I said, these people shouldn't be this poor. This is not some places in Africa. So from there, I started mentoring these young people. Many of them now have graduated from college. When they see me, they remember me. They say, Mr. Ola, thank you very much. Fast forward, while I was doing that with the Urban League of Racine, Kenosha, in Kenosha, I helped some grown-ups, get into Chrysler. I prepared them to pass the test to hire at Chrysler. So that's how I got into this, and I discovered that in the building trades, because this lady would tell me, Ola, we don't have a lot of women or ethnic minorities in the building trades. What can we do to help them get into it? And that's how the trajectory of what I intended to do changed. Now I'm a people's person. I prepare people to be successful.
And who do you target to get into your training system?
They're unemployed, underemployed. Some of them come out of the prison system or jail. Those are the people I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Ola's program has set up a lot of Racine citizens to continue working, get the training they need to go higher in different fields. And I'm just concerned about the future of the First Choice Apprenticeship Program. I've recently relocated to Milwaukee just because I was able to be closer to where I was working. I am still here in Racine working also. But there's people here that really need that training. I want them to continue expanding if possible. I know it helped a lot of in the drug areas of Racine. I'm not just keeping the drug dealers off the street, but helping them get jobs, and the addicts, helping them rehabilitate. So it's a program not only just for workers, but for people who want to rehabilitate themselves and want to, further their careers in construction or whatnot. So I just don't want to see this program go away. It helped me a lot, got me away from a lot of things I was into in the past. Just gave me a brighter outlook on life. So I know it's helped a lot of other friends of mine, and it's not just for men, it's for women. It helps a lot of people out. So just want to see this program continue.
Now, is this taking place over on at the fire station there at Kiwani?
Yeah.
All right, so you bring them in there, but now you're going to train them how to, what is it, plumbing, carpentry, electrical? Is it all the building trades, or what is...
I don't train them to be carpenters or plumbers. They have a prerequisite they have to fulfill in my program.
Okay.
The first 2 weeks, I call it Tools for Success. So we're going to do communication skills, reading, writing, speaking, and listening. You have to read a book, an American classic. Grapes of Wrath, Native Son, some British authors too, 1984, Animal Farm. And I want them to connect what they know of this place to the book. Don't tell me the story. Some of them don't believe in the banking system. So a book I read growing up in Nigeria, Salah's Manor, written by George Eliot, I give them to read because this guy would put his wealth under the bed, and one day...
Did you say Silas Marner?
Yeah, Silas Marner.
Yeah, my mother used to make references to him when I was a kid.
Okay.
Because he was a tightwad, right?
Yeah, he was
very, very stingy. That's interesting.
And he put his wealth under his bed, in a chest, and one day, every night, before he goes to bed, he brings out this chest to take a look if, wow, this is all mine. And one day he did that, the chest was gone, Well, so I explained to them, this is what happens in life, You have to trust a bank to put your money in it. So we do financial literacy, money management. We also do nutrition.
Yeah.
Because the people I see have children, and I want them to be able to buy nutritious meal for their children. People always tell me, say, Ola, this stuff doesn't have anything to do with construction. I say, this makes them successful people.
All right, so the first thing you're working on is their character.
Yeah.
All right, more than their skills.
Not more than their skills.
Okay, got it. All
Because
right.
somebody else is going to make them a carpenter or a plumber. Because my program is just 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what's really interesting is the fact that America has this vision of itself, of going around the world, feeding the hungry, taking care of people, being this great benefactor. And yet right here in the United States, in the Midwest, the very heartland, here's a guy from Africa.
All right. So, but the point is though we're going to build up the building trades, right? We're going to get some people in.
We're going to
there.
get some people into the building
And they're
trades.
going to start with you, and you're going to work on their character. You're going to get them reading things, learning a little bit more about math and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's a 6 weeks program.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
All right. So now,
But that part is the first 2 weeks of the program.
Okay.
If you're not willing to do that part, then you cannot be in our program.
okay, good.
Oh,
All right. So now, all right. So we got you. That's the first 2 weeks. Now, once they get through that, if they make it through that, now what happens? Now
Then
what do
we
they do?
go into the construction-related subject. We do OSHA 10, which is 10 hours of hand and power tools. What is this? This is a hammer, this is a table saw, this is a jigsaw, this is that,
So you
They
teach them
understand.
about tools.
Yeah. And they can see it and hold it and feel it.
Do they cut something with the saw or anything?
They have to.
They have to. Okay.
They
So
have to.
you not only show them what it is, but
Yeah.
you show them how to use it.
We're showing them how to
Do you
use
show them how to read a ruler?
everything because,
Okay. Be surprised how many
construction
guys
workers,
I run into in my
yeah.
business,
Okay.
property management, can't read a ruler.
Well, it's really fundamental stuff, but a lot of people don't have access to it, particularly young men who don't have fathers. I mean, I grew up with a dad who did all kinds of things. I mean, he did all sorts of work around the house.
Or they've been spending their whole school time studying, doing social studies. They don't
Right,
get into
right,
stuff like
right.
that. We don't do that. We're learning in school. We're learning how to be a good person, how to behave yourself, and treat everybody right, as opposed to let's get a skill so that you can go out and make some money and support yourself.
You see, what we have done at First Church Pre-Apprenticeship is we always looked at what may be coming in the future. Because originally when we started the program, they did this OSHA 10. It's just hand and power tools.
Now, just out of curiosity, when they're working with the tools, is that part of the program, or is that's separate from being OSHA ready? OSHA ready is more,
It's part of the
probably
program.
more in the books and stuff like that. Do they ever pull out a tool and have to
They
patch
have to.
something with that?
They
Oh,
have
for
to.
OSHA ready?
Yeah.
Good.
What we have done is this. We don't just depend on sitting down in a classroom and watching videos. We go out and do it. I call it skills enhancement. For example, in Caledonia, somebody came to us and said, Ola, can you guys build this?
Right.
What is it you want us to build?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 700-foot boardwalk,
Okay.
Nicholson Environmental Park. So money came from the village and DNR.
Oh, nice.
You buy the materials, the lumber, the bolts and everything, we will design it.
Mm-hmm.
It took us 2 years to build because each class is like 6 weeks,
Right.
So we're turning it over, So we designed this boardwalk. It's all complete now. If you go to Nicholson Park, you will find it there.
Well, that's very good. So you're doing something actual, practical.
Yeah,
thing.
we're doing practical stuff, yeah.
So you're not only teaching them how to work with tools in the over there in Kiwani Street.
Yeah.
And you're not only showing them the rules with OSHA and lead abatement and of course the building of the personality, but you're actually going out now and you're going to use that to actually construct something.
Yeah, what we did for 5 years, every summer we'll get about 10 properties in the city. Some of them come through City Hall because the owner of this property doesn't have the resources to fix a code violation.
Right.
So they send them to us. We take a look at the property. If it has lead, because you want to paint this house, we remove the lead first and then we paint it. So our students do that. They're not paid, but we're showing them
Right.
responsibility. This is what you do when you go to this job. You know, some we have built wheelchair ramps for wheelchair-bound individuals because they are senior citizens. If they are not senior citizens, they were in an accident and now they need a ramp to be able to get into their property. There's a cop house, community policing house by Geneva Street there.
Okay.
We rebuilt the retaining wall because Chief Wallen used to be the police chief there.
Yeah.
And he says, Ola, you know, we have this problem here. Can you guys do something about it? We took our students there, we take a look at it, and we say, okay, we're going to put some drainage tiles there, and then we're going to rebuild this retaining wall. And we did it. It's still standing.
How long have you been actually engaged in this kind of training? How many years?
18 years.
18 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you do 10 students at a time. Is that what you're saying about that?
I like to have 20 people to come to class, first
Okay.
day of class.
Mm-hmm.
There's an attrition.
Yeah.
After the first week, I'm going to lose 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then after the second week, maybe I lose another 2. But optimally, 12 to 15 is the number you can do every time so that they can be able to use the hand and power tools and have some practicum and go out to a job and do the job. Because if they don't do these things, we don't give them a certificate of completion.
Good. All right.
Well, and if they don't have those skills, there's no point in applying for a job because, they're going to be exposed very, very quickly that they don't know what they're doing. These foundational skills and attitudes that you're developing for them are essential.
Yeah, they're essential, yeah. And, another thing that we do is that, we make sure that when they come to us, there is no student I have not seen that doesn't remember me.
Yeah.
Okay? They are in Denver, Colorado. They send me messages all the time. They're in Texas. They're all over the place now because they said, you changed it for me.
Yeah, that's very good.
Now, what I'm saying to you is this. To get into our program, you have to have a high school diploma or equivalency. 15 years ago, I would tell people in Racine, people that I see don't have a high school diploma, do something. But people never paid attention until last year. Now they're paying attention. I was telling somebody the other day, I said, maybe because I have an accent. That's why people don't listen to me. But I know the challenges that we have in Racine. High school diploma, that's one part of it. And if they have issues with addiction, maybe they smoke pot or something. But when you come to my program, we're going to test you, and you must pass the drug test.
When you first said that, I thought you said a problem with diction. Like you couldn't understand what they were saying. But
No,
yeah,
it's
addiction,
drug problem.
Drug problems is a big problem.
And but I don't dismiss them. I give
Right.
them the opportunity to clean up while they are in the class. Because when they are done, last day of class, we're going to test everybody.
Yeah.
They must pass this test for me to give them a certificate of completion. And they must also pass this test when I find employment for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they go to the employer, I don't want the employer to call me, hey, Ola, this guy failed the drug test. Because I have a brand to protect.
Well, I think it's important that you allow them to come in and to rehabilitate themselves concurrently with learning.
Yeah, with learning.
Yeah. Because if you set the threshold of you're going to have to pass a test, a drug test, before you get involved, they don't know what the value of the program is until they're actually exposed to it.
Yeah, until they're exposed to it.
Yeah, so I think that's a good approach, too.
There's one thing that we do in our shop is that if somebody comes to us today, we are going to monitor them, mentor them for the life of their apprenticeship.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 3 years apprenticeship, we are going to be in contact with this person for the whole 3 years. If it's 4 years or if it's 5 years, which is the electrical apprenticeship or pipe fitting or sheet metal work, because we want them to be able to go home so that their peers and their neighbors see that this can be done. One thing I tell a contractor is this: you only have one call to me when I place somebody with you.
Yeah.
I'll talk to that person, but if the behavior doesn't change, then you're at liberty to fire the person.
Have you had much of a problem at all with people that are wants to get out and get employed, not following through to the point where they're employable?
I haven't seen one.
That's fantastic.
10 years,
that is
we
fantastic.
did the first church apprenticeship in Racine. 10
Yeah.
years, we trained 640 people.
Mm-hmm.
329 of them have a card, journeyman's card. They
Yeah.
completed the apprenticeship. Electrician, iron worker, pipe fitter, sheet metal worker, carpenter, labor craft.
Yeah.
That's very good. The point is, you put them, given to them, sent them to an employer
Yeah.
with this background of personal changes, knowledge of tools, knowledge of the rules, the OSHA rules, the lead abatement rules, and now it's up to the employer to take that. He's at least got something there. Now he will take and might specialize more like in making building
craft.
roofs
Yeah,
or
yeah,
building
a particular
houses.
craft. Yeah.
So and that, once they're working with him, then they're going to get that other degree or that other license,
License, yeah.
like electrical or plumbing or carpenter's license.
We have four men now, who came through this program.
Well, now that's a really good side, and you work with them for 6 weeks. You say
6
you
weeks,
you take them from scratch.
Yeah.
Now they got to be kind of clean drug wise. They have to have a college degree, somewhat
High
literate.
school.
No, not college.
I mean, a high school degree.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, high school degree,
High school.
and they have to be somewhat literate. That's because
Literacy,
to read the book. But you can take that person, and you can take in 6 weeks. Now you've got them ready to walk into a job and really learn that particular trade really well.
I just placed
That sounds
3 people like 2 weeks ago at a job. Then the contractor came back and said, "Ola, do you have more people?" Then he hired one more person. So I have 4 people on this job now. He says to me today, "I need one more."
Mm-hmm.
Because they're hardworking, they're doing what I'm expecting them to do, and they're here on time.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's a big deal.
That's excellent. And then so every 6 weeks you turn out another 12 to 15 people.
Maybe not every 6 weeks, but my class is 6 weeks. What I say is that, if I don't have, in the last 1 year, I may have a class of 5 or 6 because I need to do it.
No, I understand that, but you take them in groups and you bring them on. You bring them up from this basic thing up to where they're ready to be really going to a particular
Employable.
trade. Yeah, they're very employable. I like that. I think all right, and that's sitting right here in Racine, folks. If you took the 6 weeks, let's say how many 6 weeks? There's 8 of them.
We do about.
You could do 100, 125 a year.
Yeah, that's what we can do. But given
That's a lot of that's turning out a lot of carpenters.
Yeah.
But given the fact that sometimes we may not find people who are eligible, we send them someplace else. We will start a class every 8th or 9th week.
Yeah. Well, now all of this is costing money. I know.
Yeah,
I know
that's my question.
The
Is how are you financing
Yeah,
it? Yes.
yeah.
Every year, our budget, all things considered, our budget is about $320,000.
Okay.
We have 4 employees:
Mm-hmm.
instructor, you have an administrative assistant, you have a case manager, and then you have me. Every student that comes to our program gets a voucher for something because we are providing them with a hard hat, tool belt, hammer, tape measure.
And that all comes
Yeah,
out of the budget as
It
well.
all comes out
Yeah.
of the budget.
Okay.
So if we do 100, you multiply it by $150.
Yeah. I see.
So nobody is getting rich. What we do.
Where does this come from, though?
Okay, in the past we've had some money from the city, but money they give us is not really adequate for us to run the program. So we get money from Racine Dominicans, get money from S. Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
get money from United Way, and then we had a state contract. So,
Okay. It's various sources and
various sources.
and
some individuals give us the check $1,000 here and there,
Yeah.
Some
Okay.
individuals do that.
and
Well, now there's a big jobs program that's being coming down the pike related to the Foxconn construction. So they're wanting to train a bunch of people for that. I remember listening to you speak down at City Hall in the public comment period and talking about we would like to be included in this program. And I remember that they promised that you would be. And how's that working out?
I have to see it on paper.
Yeah.
One thing I know is this. The people I work with are vested in this community of Racine.
Mm-hmm.
And we've worked with people and we've made something out of those individuals. Okay? It's a local initiative. One thing that really bothered me the most was the fact that somebody in this community went out to Milwaukee to say, we are going to bring this agency to Racine to do this training. And I explained, you have to drill down or mine the data in this community. If you say to me that I haven't done enough, 60 people, 65 people every year completing the program, then you are not looking at the universe of Racine.
Alder Perez.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm a little confused with the discussion we had at the committee meeting. I was under the impression from the discussion that you led that said that First Apprenticeship Program was in the loop on this, and he seemed to be quite surprised that what he read in the paper didn't apply to him. Can you clarify for me your statements, please?
So right now I'm chairing the meeting. I can't engage in debate on the conversation, but I will refer to Alder Shakur.
Yes, he will be involved. And not only will he be involved, there'll be others from the city involved. RCEDC will be more like the collaboration that brings them all together. It's not going to, we're not going to exclude anybody. If they have a track record as they do have, they will be involved. So I think maybe there was some misunderstanding, but definitely anyone that's within the city of Racine that's doing the great work that they have been doing over the years will definitely be at the table. And that's what we did say initially too, that everyone would be at the table, and the first apprenticeship initiative will be definitely at the table.
Racine is less than 80,000 people.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So if you look at that universe, 80,000 people, I see about 250 for 65 people to complete it, our program. Because I'm going to outreach to 250 people. That doesn't mean they're eligible for my program.
Yeah.
You still have to take a test. If you don't meet 10 grade level, I don't accept you, I send you to Workforce Solutions so they can help the individual bring up their grade level in reading and arithmetic up to 10th grade.
Now, is this company from Milwaukee, are they doing essentially the same kind of training that you're doing? The ones that are being considered for this Foxconn training, do they have a program that's parallel to yours, or is it like, would it be in sequence with yours?
It's not parallel, we're different.
Yeah.
They may prepare people for the building trades.
If you were pushed to get a whole lot of people through your program, just as it stands right now, how many people do you think you could actually get through? Let's suppose you enrolled a certain
number.
If we
have the resources, because what I always hear is, we don't have the capacity. I say capacity is money. In addition to that, I need the people.
Yeah.
They must meet this thing, my eligibility.
You're talking about the students.
The students.
Okay, but the four of you, how many people could you get? Can you duplicate that? Let's suppose they say, Ola, we need 50 people every 6 weeks coming through. Now that would mean
even that group from Milwaukee can do 50 people every 6 weeks.
Okay, well, but you would have to expand the 4 people that you're training. You'd have to duplicate yourself, in other words, to do that. The 4 of you, how many could you get through? Just the 4 of you.
The 4 of us, we can get through 100 because I've said, I can do a class in the morning and I can do an evening session, 5 to 8. Then I do a morning class 9 to 2.
So you could get how many through in 6 weeks? 100?
No, in 6 weeks, if I do 2 sessions every day, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I can get 20 people every day. I can do 20 people every 6
So you
weeks.
could, you could do doing 2. You could get 20 people every 6 weeks. Okay.
Every 6 weeks.
Just curious what the capacity.
Yeah,
is.
but it's
If,
still money.
You know, for this number of 20 people, you know, which means our instructor, we're going to have an instructor that comes in the morning, and we have an instructor that comes in the evening. You know, some classes I teach the life skills, the tools for success.
Yeah.
That is my thing. That way, I know the people who are in the program, and I hand them over to this instructor who is a carpenter by trade or a sheet metal worker by trade, who knows this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of these people also sold drugs, in their past. And I say to them, there's no way you are going to have legitimacy in this community or in this society if you are engaged in the underground economy. You have to do something else.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah,
can
for
make
sure.
some money short term, but you're probably going to end up in the system as a prisoner or something
Yeah,
somewhere down the
something
line.
like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, you
You're
know,
always ducking.
for me,
You're always ducking.
Yeah. I was thinking.
anyway, you know, I love what I do. It gives me satisfaction, even though I'm not well compensated. But the people we have brought along from their past to where they are today gives me joy.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yes.
That's a big part of the equation of life.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
there you go. We wanted more people in Racine to see what it is that you're doing, because every once in a while you'll appear, down at City Hall and talk, and some people get exposed to you. But I don't think very many people realize the program that you've got going in this city and what you've accomplished. And more than ever right now, with all of the jobs that are looking to be on the horizon with this Foxconn development, that's a whole other discussion. But the kind of work that you're doing is extremely important to the success of that. So
Thank you very much.
Yes.
appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Ola.
You know.
Appreciate it.
Foxconn, you have to take everything they're saying regarding this construction work with a grain of salt.
We do. We keep a salt shaker handy, believe me. So,
Because I know that, 10,000 construction workers, where are you going to get them from?
yeah.
There's no 10,000 construction workers. That's what we have in the state of Wisconsin. And they're not going to leave these jobs they are on in Milwaukee, in Madison, to come to Racine because you are building Foxconn.
Yeah.
Because they're going to continue to build in Milwaukee.
That's right.
Yeah, there have to be new people generated all the time.
Yep.
Is there anything else you want to say in closing to the people who are watching?
We have done it for this community, and their support is very, very important. Those who know what we have done can attest to it. We haven't told the story the way we should have, but our graduates are testament to what we've brought here.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Again, congratulations on being married to a citizen. And thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this and learned something from it, and we'll see you next week.